This is a story of Jeju Air Flight 2216 and how it basically crashed into a barrier going over speed. The flight departed at the flight departed at 4:30 local time at Bangkok and was due to to Korea. The pushback and everything went perfectly normal. The plane, which is question 8, Boeing 737-800, was a Jeju Air flight. I don't have a Southwest. I only have a Southwest memory right now, and we have two pilots. One, a 45-year-old called Han, who had 6,823 hours of flight, and 6,100 of them, which was on the 737. While the co-pilot was a 35-year-old who had 1,650 hours of flight time in total, and had 250 on the 737. Both pilots were really experienced pilots and they were ready to go on a journey. The flaps went out, everything was looking normal at first. The 737 had been converted from a Ryanair to a Jeju Air. It was about 7 years old. After they had their pushback truck, the plane throttled up and started taxiing over to the runway. Most of the flight was uneventful until the part in the landing where the right engine suffered from a bird strike and completely shut off. The plane started taxiing with no problems at all. The plane aligned in the middle of the runway. And then started throttling up in order to go to Korea. The flight would take about 4 hours and 20 minutes. But the passengers didn't know the plane had a bird strike at their short final. The plane took off no problem, put gear and flaps up, and started accelerating and ascending to their cruise altitude of 10,000 feet. Most of the flight went uneventful until the landing part, where again the right engine suffered a critical bird strike and had to shut down. There was a bit of clustering, but that was not a problem for the pilots, considering that the 737 was a highly experienced aircraft and could maneuver itself with its autopilot as well. After they got to their cruising altitude, the plane slowly descended in order to get to their destination and land safely. What the pilot didn't know is that they were not going to be safe at all. Considering that. Halfway through the flight, they decided to check their gear, and then a warning showed up in the gear box that said that the gear could not be extended, or it could not be extended or tried a gravity pull, but it was no use. They were basically just stuck. They still ignored it, considering that maybe they could have solved it until they got to their destination. The pilots maneuvered the plane to the Korean airport safely and soundly, and they started their short final by descending to around 1,000 feet. The ground was in view and everything looked perfect, just until the final descent. The pilots tried putting the heel down again, but the heel just wouldn't extend. Now, they were dealing with a bigger issue. They could see some birds coming towards their way. But the engines still showed powerful, so that meant the birds were going to miss them. But that's not how it went to plan. Considering that it was an old 737, its terrain systems didn't detect the birds, which meant they were going to have to go through the birds. They went through, and engine 2 completely shut down. The plane had to do a belly landing with no one engine. Now, they steered the plane into its belly, and it crashed right into the ground, killing 179 passengers and only leaving 2 survivors. As a replay there, this is basically what happened. They went in like that and crashed into a barrier. Again, one of the engines shut down, but it was too late to go back now. So they maneuvered it, and then the plane started skidding along its belly and going to the end of the runway. They cannot do anything right now except pray that they don't crash into a barrier. Unfortunately, they did, and it completely shut off the main system, killing everybody on board and starting a huge fire. As you see here, one of the engines are not working at all because of the bird strike. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever see a bird strike, just know that there is not that much chance of survival. Shortly after landing, the engine 2 shut down because of the high pressure of the wind hitting through it. The plane started a fire just below the runway, and the engines just didn't work because it was really hard to maneuver the whole thing, considering that there was like so much wind, and the engines also supplied hydraulic power. The rudder worked fine, the elevators worked fine, but steering the plane, like, it was really hard to steer the plane now, sadly.